Our British police are admired the world over. Now 4 police officers from across the globe are heading to Britain to learn about our frontline policing techniques.
I know about the bobbies.
I've watched a drill at some stage or another.
And they are very polite.
Hoping to develop their skills, officers from Samoa, Colombia, Zambia and the Australian outback will learn how the UK police deals with troublemakers.
We get called pigs.
Big like
Pigs.
animal?
So far they've faced drunks and disorder in Essex.
I think all coppers suck cock.
Wow, that was a bit scary.
This week, they're in Birmingham, policing feuding football fans at a local derby.
It's single-handedly the most shocking thing I think I've ever seen.
And taking part in hardcore British riot training. It's a far cry from their police work back home.
We always deal with matters in a very peaceful way.
What will they make of British law and order?
What a contrast, man. What a contrast.
Can they teach us a thing or two about how to police?
We're not as strict as you guys are out there. We're too soft out here.
And will their experiences in the UK make them better officers in their home countries?
I saw the idea in UK.
Oh, I think the experience is invaluable for me. That's something which I'm certainly going to put on my CV.
Keep going.
This is Police Academy UK. Our 4 international officers have arrived in the UK's second largest city, Birmingham. They're home for the next week. They've already spent a week in Essex. There they were left shocked by the huge police resources spent helping people too drunk to help themselves.
I believe the people must take care of themselves. It's not up to the authorities, it's up to everyone.
But this week, their policing skills are going to be tested to the limit as they join West Midlands Police to combat urban crime and disorder in the big city. But even just being here is a major culture shock for some of our officers.
It's really big.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Compared to Kalgoorlie, this is massive. We've got nothing like this.
No?
No.
From the village to the city.
Young Constable Usafono from the peaceful island nation of Samoa is a very long way from home.
Oh my gosh. This is a really nice room. I really love it. This is all new to us all. Coming to the city and getting ready to work with the police officers. Wow. Sweet.
Also out of his comfort zone is Aussie outback copper Luke Ellsbury.
I thought we may have had a Vegemite-related issue then for a minute. It's a little bit overwhelming, I suppose. Yeah, I've never been to the UK before. I've never been to Birmingham before, so I don't really know what to expect. I mean, you can see the city just goes for miles, and not even Perth, the capital of Western Australia, is as big as this place. So, yeah, my policing style probably doesn't suit such a big area.
Unlike the others, Gonzalo, a high-ranking officer from the Colombian capital, Bogotá, feels right at home.
This view is very familiar for me. I'm coming from a big city, 8 million people, so I found it like home. It makes me remember my home.
From Zambia, Assistant Commissioner Alfred is looking forward to getting to grips with the city.
Just to look at the apartment, I think it just tells you what kind of a city Birmingham is. It just tells you it's a beautiful city, clean city. We expect to have, high-class kind of, professionals living in Birmingham and doing all that kind of stuff.
This week, our overseas officers are working with the West Midlands Police, who tonight are throwing Gonzalo and Luke in at the deep end of city policing. Their arrival in Birmingham coincides with a major police operation at a local football derby.
From what I've seen on television and what I've read, it seems like, soccer fanatics here generally get labelled as hooligans and take their sport to the next level, which is something I've never really seen before in Australia. And I don't know whether that's true or not, but if that is the case, then yeah, it's obviously going to be a challenge tonight.
For tonight's match, Luke and Gonzalo will be joining experienced public order officer, Inspector John Pickard.
How many away fans is it going to be?
3,800.
Okay. And they all get police escort into the ground.
Well, what tends to happen is we try and collect them as they all come up, and put like a bit of a loose cordon around them. So we'll put police officers around them and put a bubble on for say 100 or so, and move 100 or so together.
Yeah.
Welcome to the briefing for today's policing operation. Please ensure airwave terminals...
The game is a grudge match between Birmingham City and Aston Villa, with a history of trouble. And the police are expecting up to 30,000 fans, the same as the entire population of Aussie copper Luke's hometown. Luke is from the small mining town of Kalgoorlie, deep in the outback.
One of the things about policing in a small country town, everywhere you look, you see people you've either locked up, or people you work with, or people you play footy with, or anything like that. So I think that's certainly a positive side of policing in the bush.
With a tiny population, his bread and butter work is dealing with antisocial behaviour on a Saturday night.
There's a big drinking culture in Kalgoorlie, so I'd say if there was one job that I'd probably attend more often than not, it'd probably be because someone is intoxicated and running amok, basically, or kicking off in the pub or something like that.
Luke has come to the UK to find out what it takes to police in our densely populated cities. And tonight, he's going to be tested against 30,000 football fans. This is no ordinary match they're being asked to police. These clubs are only 3 miles apart, and there's a long history of violence between the rival fans. On the way to the ground, and still over an hour before kick-off, there's already a problem.
The vans you can see in front of us, the blue lights flashing, the officers have been deployed on foot, and they're just collecting up these groups of their youths, actually, who are goading the police escorts with the Villa fans inside. So these youngsters are really out just to cause a bit of aggro.
Trouble's already started, mate. Before the game even starts, we don't generally get that where I'm from.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long day, man.
Mm-hmm.
Birmingham City fans have ambushed rival Aston Villa supporters. The violence has spilled out onto the roads, and with traffic at a standstill, the overseas officers continue on foot.
The fans have started to fight outside the ground, well, about a mile away from the ground, on one of the main traffic islands. The police have split them up, but now they're attacking the police and throwing missiles at them. So the commander's just authorised the deployment of officers in riot gear, because they're taking missiles. Don't start shouting at me when you're there, right? Just go to the game, right?
While trying to keep the opposing fans apart, the police are forced to take the brunt of the violence.
What's happening here?
Luke and Gonzalo are caught between the two sets of fighting fans with no protective clothing, no experience of public disorder on this scale, and limited training in how to deal with it. They are totally exposed.
Hold on, watch out.
Lunacy, mate. I just can't believe that people just behave like this. The game hasn't even started, and everyone's carrying on like bloody trained seals already. What are we doing now, mate?
We're getting out of here. Gonzalo, if you just keep your eyes on the left as well, and people coming across the central reservation.
Just waiting for a bloody bottle to come flying through the air, mate.
Exactly, yeah.
Crazy. We it's a bit crazy, you know.
As the missiles start flying, officers in full riot gear are called in. Gonzalo and Luke can only look on.
It's hard when you got no kit, because you just, situations like this, you just want to get stuck in. You just want to get stuck in and give your colleagues a hand, but unfortunately we've got nothing on us at all, so yeah, there's not much we can do. But I can assure you that yeah, if any of the boys need a helping hand, then we'll be the first ones going in there to help.
As they near the ground, the police helicopter spots a lone unattended police car that has become a target for fans.
Silver Alpha Oscar 1, you've got supporters damaging the police van on the water and whole island of them.
The closest police support are Luke, Gonzalo and Inspector Pickard.
Is there someone in that police car there, mate, or?
Yeah, we've got police going to in there, thank you.
They reach the car, but are too late to prevent some serious damage.
Let's get ourselves inside that car park, yeah?
At the ground, Luke and Gonzalo take refuge in a car park. Fans are being funneled into the ground, but all that separates the rival groups is a single fence.
We're Alpha Oscar 1, you're getting missiles thrown between the two sets of supporters over the fence there.
Just watch your backs, they're throwing missiles down over the fence at the bottom.
To keep them apart, the police must defend the fence at all costs.
Unbelievable. They're like bloody savages, mate. They're supposed to be coming here to support their team, and they're more worried about fighting the opposition supporters, mate. I've never seen anything like it before. This is, yeah, something else, mate. Out of everything I've seen so far, in 8 years, mate, 8 years of being a copper, this is single-handedly the most shocking thing I think I've ever seen.
So noisy, so strange. I mean, I don't like violence, and I believe that it's a kind of stupid just fighting with another one that is because he's supporter of other team. So this is kind of ridiculous. But you see how many police officers are here, which is not fair with the population outside. You see how many officers are here, and what happened with the rest of the city.
But even after the fans are safely inside the ground, the violence continues, as helicopter and mobile phone footage from after the game shows. Finally, after order is restored and the majority of fans head peacefully home, the damage can be assessed. 5 arrests were made and 14 people, including 4 police officers, needed hospital treatment and 2 police dogs were injured. It's been a shocking introduction to public disorder in Britain, and action man Luke hasn't liked feeling helpless.
I felt a little bit vulnerable, and we were wandering around out there because there was bottles getting thrown and people spitting on other people, and it seems like all the supporters turn on the coppers here. I mean, the coppers are trying to do the right thing and usher them into the ground, but they were just carrying on like the police were the enemy, and I think the coppers were very tolerant with a lot of those guys.
It's early morning in the West Midlands. After the trouble at the football and Gonzalo and Luke's brush with violent disorder, the West Midlands Police are sending our 4 overseas officers on a special training course on how to police in such extreme situations. This is riot training.
Good morning. Welcome to the Midland Region Public Order Training Centre and Tactical Training. What you will experience during your stay here is exactly the same as what all the UK students will experience. Right in at the deep end to get the best out of you and the best experience you could have.
Over the next few days, they'll be joining a class of UK coppers as they're put through one of the toughest courses in policing. At the end of the week, they'll face a live riot test. If they pass, they'll be fully qualified to UK standards to police disorder on the streets. After feeling powerless at the football, Luke can't wait to get stuck in.
Looking forward to it, actually. I did a brief bit of riot training when I went through the academy about 8 years ago, but I haven't done anything since, and it's something which I've always wanted to do, but just due to where I'm working at the moment, being Kalgoorlie, we just don't do this sort of training.
Okay.
It's fine.
For Gonzalo and Alfred, both high-ranking officers in their own countries, it's been many years since they've had to do any physical training like this.
I'm 100% fit. 100% fit. Though I'm a bit heavy now.
23 years after my training, I became older and senior as well. So now, you know, these kind of things, for my people there, I can order them to take care of the situation. I'm in strategic level. That's good to come back again to the field, why not?
In Samoa, this type of training is usually reserved for male officers only. But it's a situation Constable Osofono would like to see changed.
In Samoa, we have a special unit that the guys actually do with this kind of stuff. They have training with the shields and carry the helmets. None of the females ever done it before, so it's good to come here and do this public order training. I never get to do this back home, you know.
Okay, can you lift your arms up? Okay, can you punch forward? Okay, absolutely great, that looks fantastic.
Parachute 2!
Their first lesson is in crowd control. There were nearly 1,000 cases of violent public disorder in the UK last year. And they must learn how to police an angry mob while protecting the public and themselves.
What are we looking for? What are we actually going to do to the crowd? Push them back, disperse them, or deal with them in some way? Yes, absolutely.
Parachute 2! Advance!
The PSUs are doing now, the police support units, is a tactic which is called shield work, which is now dispersing an imaginary hostile crowd away from the police shields. It's a recognised tactic to separate confrontation and to basically set objectives, move on and disperse a crowd away from the police lines.
They must also train to cope with the worst case scenario, an injury to a fellow officer.
Let's give it a go.
These tactics are just some of the skills they need to master before the live riot test at the end of the week, where they'll find out if they've got what it takes to be a UK riot police officer.
OK then, folks. Well, from my feedback to you, I think you've coped with it quite well. I've watched how you've performed with the lines, and I think that you're starting to get used to it, and I think you kept it very well, so I'm quite pleased with that.
The first exercise completed, and it's already answered some of Luke's questions about police tactics at the football.
All the commands and the structures that they were using at the soccer or the football on Wednesday nights sort of makes a bit more sense to me now, after doing a bit of a crash course. So, yeah, it's good.
The overseas officers have all kept up so far, but Alfred is running out of steam.
So I was a little bit tired, you know me, I'm 46 years and running around with these kids, and I got too tired. My protector has gone out of place. They were putting me into an awkward position. But I managed to finish the whole exercise.
Back in Zambia, as Assistant Commissioner, Alfred is more used to fighting crime from a desk.
I wouldn't want to work on the front line desk of the police officer, no, because there are a lot of things that goes on there. There's a lot of blood, and I don't like blood.
He hopes his trip to the UK will be a chance to learn the latest police tactics and training techniques.
We are going to share this knowledge and learn from one another. That's great. That will improve the Zambia police, because I'll be able to share that information with my colleagues here.
But also, he's hoping he might be able to teach the UK police a thing or two.
This is my Tessa gun. If I use an another one, it loads 2,800 kilovolts of power. And that's too much for any human being. So you will just crumble down. At least for 3 minutes. And by that time, I'd have put you in my handcuffs. You wake up, you are in police cells. If a bad guy comes threatening me, I can use it on him, just get it out quickly, then fire. Then the guy is down.
Back at the training centre, Alfred is going to get a chance to show off his taser skills. Frontline police in the UK now have access to the taser. It delivers a massive electric shock which makes those being detained lose all control of their muscles.
Taser is used where we have a violent subject. If someone offers us violence or commits violence upon us, we have the right to use taser. And it's a very, very good piece of kit out on the street if it's stuck to. It has to be proportionate, it has to be justifiable. 2 volunteers. Phono Luke, that's very good of you. Alfred, Gonzalo, can we move outside, please?
It's standard kit at home for Aussie copper Luke. But in Samoa, police don't even carry handcuffs, let alone a weapon like this.
Drop the knife! Drop the knife or you'll be tasered! Drop the knife or you'll be tasered! Drop it down! Drop it down! Drop it down!
Next up, Gonzalo and Alfred. The 2 senior officers of the group have already developed a healthy rivalry. And as his preferred weapon of choice in Zambia, Alfred is hoping for top marks in the taser. Unfortunately, he's forgotten to turn it on.
What happened with your taser? Alfred.
You did the job, man.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that wingman. One at each nipple. Beautiful.
That's a good shot. Taser. Don't take any mess in there. I like that style of policing.
Alfred gets a second chance, but he still can't get his taser working. Gonzalo has to rescue him again.
He was going to kill you, man. He didn't even react. I mean, he didn't put his taser on. He was, just drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. And then the guy was about to, then I have to go I back him up. And then I put the taser on, so, he failed again.
For the final exercise of the day, our officers are going to learn to enter buildings, police support unit style. They'll need these skills when shadowing specialist UK police teams, carrying out raids and warrants. The police use these tools every day when speed is essential.
If you want to have a go?
Yeah, definitely.
First up with the enforcer is Australian copper Luke.
So we're looking to target that area there, is that right?
Yeah, target that area. Hey! Fantastic.
Next up, Alfred and Usafono. Neither have used anything like this before, and luckily for Alfred, unlike the taser, the ram doesn't need to be switched on. But it does require timing.
We'll go on 3. You count. Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, you count. Loud. 1, 2, 3. Go. 2. Oh, yikes. Wow.
Can I stop you there? You were both pulling at different times. Do you want to give it another go?
Gonzalo steps in to help Alfred once again.
Grab that spike. 1, 2, 3. Super!
Ooh.
It's the end of the training session. They have just a few days left to master these skills before they're put to the test in the live riot scenario. But back at their Birmingham flat, Alfred's poor performance with the taser is still coming under scrutiny from rival senior officer Gonzalo.
You forgot to put your taser on when we went into, we went into that room, and this guy was with a knife, and you say, drop it, drop it. So he was about to attack you.
No.
And you had your taser off. So, if I'm not there, you will be killed.
We couldn't have a assistant commissioner
I know.
getting stabbed.
Exactly. To be promoted, you have to be alive.
No, you can be promoted posthumously.
Yes, I know.
And you become a great hero. Do you know that a great hero is better than a living coward?
UK cops use public order tactics every day on the streets. This morning, it's the Colombian colonel who's the first of our foreign officers to see these techniques in action. He's impressed during training, and today will form part of Sergeant Greg Evans' team heading out on a drugs raid. Up to 20% of violent crime in the UK is thought to be drug-related, and it costs an estimated £2.3 billion to police it. This is an area of particular interest to Gonzalo. Gonzalo is a colonel in the Colombian National Police. For much of his career, he's been involved in anti-narcotics operations. He's helped prevent millions of pounds worth of cocaine leaving his country, like this recently intercepted haul with a street value of over £500 million.
What you see here is a big seizure, one of the biggest ones. We just had it this year, 3 tons of cocaine, net weight. 3 tons of cocaine is huge. It's a good day for us. We are happy. We are happy.
But as well as drug producers, Colombia is facing a growing drug user problem. Gonzalo is in the UK to see how our police combat crime at the other end of the drug chain.
It's not that bad here, I can tell you, truly. It's not that bad, but it's still, I mean, we have to stop it right now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to be, you know, worse and worse.
Yeah. We're finding now that a lot of people are coming to the police or the drug workers to say, I want help now. Because the gear's so bad, they're not getting that buzz from it, so they want to come off the gear now. And that's having a big effect. Alternatively, if the gear's so bad, they need to buy more of it, so they need to go and commit more crime. So it's a double-edged sword, really.
I'll follow you. Do your job.
The unit have had a tip-off that a known heroin user is selling drugs from his flat. They can't risk him getting rid of any evidence, so they've brought the enforcer.
Police! Everybody get on the floor! Show your hand, stand up, stand up! Warrants under the misuse of drugs that being executed at this premises today. Yeah, cool. Is there anyone else in this flat at the moment? I'm putting these cuffs on you at the moment. Is there any drugs in this premises at all? Anything else that you shouldn't have in this premises?
We've got a warrant under the Misuse of Drugs Act. To search this property, we've had some intelligence that there's drugs being assumed and being sold from this property.
Gonzalo uses his experience of drug smuggling to help with the search.
They hide something. They normally look for places like this.
So far, they've found no drugs, but there's plenty of evidence of drug use.
Needle there, there's general paraphernalia where it's been used, burnt foil.
Gonzalo takes the opportunity to find out more about the consumption end of the drug market.
What kind of support are you getting from the government or the local police or any institution that is helping?
At the moment, I'm pestering the local drug services to get me back onto a script, so because I've got my little boy.
Oh yeah?
And that's what makes a difference for me. I want to be a full-time dad, and I can't be because my time gets consumed. So.
He said he has a kid, so I can't imagine that bringing a kid inside this environment. It's not going to be good for the kid. Looking at his father living in these conditions, not good example at all, for sure. It's a total mess.
How much gear were you on before?
I tried to keep it to a bare minimum.
What was that? When you were at your worst?
When I was at my worst, I spent 126 grand in 3 months because my mum died 3 years ago.
120 grand in 3 months?
My mum died and left me and my brother 126 grand each, and I spent mine in 3 months.
Jesus. What was that on?
Crack and smack. I was getting a taxi from the Lake District down here to school. because I went to the Lake District.
Yeah. And with regards to your Subutex?
Gavin has been taking a prescription drug called Subutex to help him get off heroin. But even with support, it's not easy to kick the habit.
The only way you can describe it to somebody that's not took drugs is tell them the flu ×2 and then a bit. Aching legs, sweating, can't eat, can't move, chill to the bone, goosebumps.
And how long does that last for?
It can last from 24, 36 hours.
And then how do you feel after that?
You still don't sleep properly or anything for a few days.
And Subutex suits you better?
It's not necessarily that it suits it, but I just think if you want to get clean...
And is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I'm sick to death of it.
It's quite difficult to go out of that. I know that, and it's a pity. It's a total waste of his life. My advice for the people and young people in the UK is never try, because sometimes you're going to be lost for the rest of your life. Look at the way he's living here. He's living in in a total mess. This is what the drugs do to your life, putting you in a black hole.
It's the consequences of drug use like this that Gonzalo is trying to avoid at home in Colombia. The final search reveals no Class A drugs and no evidence of dealing, but it's what the police can do now for users like Gavin that Gonzalo is interested in.
We've been able to find out about his treatment problems, so it's something we're going to go away with now and speak to our colleagues at the drug rehab centres called Ad Action in Warsaw. We've got a very good relationship with them, so we'll go and speak to them about getting Gav on a new script and trying to get him sorted and help him out a little bit.
I wish you the best. I hope that you can get out of that situation. You are the only one who can go out, no?
Thank you.
Okay. Wish you the best.
All right.
Gav, sit down, mate. Thank you. Try a bit.
Bit of no more nails on there would be alright.
Ad Action.
I'll go down when I meet my missus. See ya.
And if you know, I'm together from an all-time low.
It's early morning, and the overseas officers are back for their next day of public order training. They're almost halfway through their UK adventure, which so far has involved policing in Essex and the West Midlands. While they're beginning to find their feet among the British officers, they all still have a lot to learn about policing in the UK. And today, their training is moving up a gear to prepare them for the live riot test at the end of the week. For Assistant Commissioner Alfred, it's an opportunity to put the mistakes of the last training session behind him, especially as Gonzalo will no doubt be watching.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for another day. Yesterday it was nice. We learned quite a number of things. So I'm hoping today is going to be the same. But not too much running.
Ready training. Right! Right, John!
Today they will be subjected to and trained to deal with the violent extremes that West Midlands officers must be prepared for. Their first test is to see how they cope with being petrol bombed.
This is what we're throwing at them today. Vinegar bottle with a paper wick in the top, containing unleaded petrol in the bottom. That is as much as it... You'll be surprised on how much of an explosion we're going to get just off that little bit of petrol.
And for Luke, it's suddenly become very real.
Yeah. Not as confident as I was before, mate.
Can I have you four then, please?
It's the turn of our 4 officers. They must learn to trust the UK protective clothing against the fire.
Shields on! Advance!
Cool. For you to feel the heat. It's nice experience.
When I passed through that fire, my back was hot, so I thought the fire was still there.
But things are about to heat up even more. They must deal with an armed and dangerous offender played by a police trainer. For Gonzalo and Luke, who both come from countries where every officer carries firearms, this close-up shield work will be a new experience.
We just taser them, mate. We wouldn't waste our time with these shields.
Gonzalo leads the next group, backed up by Alfred as second officer. Can Alfred keep up with Gonzalo and make amends for his failures on the first day's training? Alfred is nowhere to be seen. He's left Gonzalo totally isolated.
Is that Gonzalo? Somebody's here.
I was waiting for Alfred for some backup, but he left me alone for a while.
I couldn't give him much support that he needed. You know, I could not see. I was not seeing where I was going. It was Joe here that was scared to rub on by. Sorry, man. Sorry.
While Gonzalo and Alfred are battling it out, Usafono, who has come here to prove she can hold her own against male officers, is still coming to terms with how different the UK is from her peaceful island home.
Do you do this a lot in Samoa?
We never do this. No, it's a peaceful country, so we don't have to deal with this a lot. We never get to use this kind of stuff.
You're not upright in Samoa?
No.
It's situations like this that Usafono has come to the UK to test herself against. But it's a far cry from her life 10,000 miles away, policing the peaceful islands of the South Pacific. Samoa has some of the lowest violent crime figures in the world. Usafono has been a police constable there for 4 years.
I have less confidence handling suspects that are very violent, but hardly any female officer would attend such cases because only the male officers would know how to handle those. Cells opposite the Apia Park, under the mango tree.
There could be 10 mango trees there.
Did you hear me say first mango tree?
Oh, first mango tree.
Oh, stop making fun of me. It's difficult for the males officers to go with the female officers to attend the case, just because they have that care feeling about a female being assaulted. When we go to serious cases, he always says to stay in the car.
But Usafono isn't happy being left in the car.
Very frustrating. How could it not be frustrating? It is frustrating. We sometimes make better decisions than men, but they don't want our voices to be heard.
Her trip to the UK is Usafono's chance to prove to her bosses in Samoa that she's the equal of any male officer. And back at the training centre, she may be about to get her chance. Each of our officers must successfully lead a team to arrest a violent and armed individual, played by one of the trainers. Aussie copper Luke is going first. Usafono will be taking notes, as it will be her turn next.
Constable Ellsbury from West Midlands Police, mate. We're going to come in and have a yarn to you, OK, mate? So just step away from the door for me, please.
Where are you from with an accent like that, son?
Well, if you step away from the door, mate, I'll tell you all about it. So just step away for us and let us in and we'll have a chat to you. Just step away from the door for me, please, mate.
Where you from, fella?
I'm from Australia, mate.
From Australia?
I'm from Australia. Door for me, please, mate.
I'll show you what I've got. Enjoy your cricket.
I do enjoy my cricket, mate, but
Enjoy your cricket.
just put the bat down for me, mate. We'll talk about it later. Just put the bat down for me, please, Nathan.
Are the Aussies faring at the moment?
Yeah, not too crash hot, mate, but I'm sure we can have a good chat about it later.
I'm not your mate. Let's get that established straight away. I ain't your mate.
Luke gets held up by the banter at the door. Finally, having failed to talk him down, he moves in for the arrest.
OK, you got a fair bit of grief at the doorway there.
I knew the cricket banter was coming.
Right, communications with him. Was it working?
Yeah. I sort of tried to build a bit of rapport to him, have a bit of a friendly chat, but obviously it wasn't going anywhere, and there was a point where, yeah, the friendly chat had to be put aside and we had to sort of start barking instructions, otherwise we would have been there all night.
OK, yeah, I agree with you. OK, can we have you back out?
Determined to learn from Luke's mistakes, Usafono decides to be firm and take control from the start.
Well, the Midland police, Nathan, we're here to arrest you. Step away from the door.
What?
Calm down, Nathan. I just need you to step away from the door for us, please. Calm down, Nathan, and move back from the door. Just move away from the door for us, please, Nathan. We just want to talk to you.
She quickly leads her team in for the arrest.
Put your hands up, Nathan. Put your hands up. Put your hands up, Nathan.
OK, ladies and gents, who were the front team? OK? Fana?
Yeah, he wasn't really complying, actually, with the police, so...
So you pushed him down to about here, and then the other two teams came in, because I think at this point he'd actually spun you slightly, hadn't he? You've got a little bit disorientated, but it wasn't a problem because your two backup team came straight in and dealt with him straight away. So more than happy with that. That was a good one. Well done.
Spot on. Spot on. Yeah. Smacked against that wall. I've shown you a level of violence, a strike you put in. Proportionate, reasonable, justifiable? Definitely. Absolutely spot on. You stopped me getting back round your team. So, brilliant.
Excellent stuff, Nathan. Yeah, no.
Oh, wow, I'm proud of myself. I've done that all day. I know I was nervous before, but wow, can't believe I did it.
It's a great result for Usafono, but there's still one day left of the course when all four officers will have to face the final test, a live riot scenario. But tonight, two of our officers are heading out to patrol Birmingham on a busy Saturday night. Usafono's success at the training has given her the confidence to go out on her first ever patrol in a city centre.
Yeah, I never get a chance to patrol around a big city before, so I'm gonna go patrol in a big city with population that is more than Samoa, so...
Luke is also feeling nervous about the huge numbers of people.
I'm only responsible for policing 35,000 people in Kalgoorlie, whereas here there's, at a guess, probably over 1 million odd people living here, so that's, yeah, straight away that's probably the first thing that hits me is just the sheer size of the population that I'm dealing with.
If Luke is feeling daunted by the prospect of crowded city streets, it's because back in Australia, he's used to having a bit more space. His beat is nearly 4 times the size of the entire UK.
It's basically 1 million square kilometres, so when you put it into perspective like that, it's pretty bloody big, I suppose. I think it'd be really good to learn how to police in an environment where there's a lot more people, because here, obviously, it's quite a remote location, and I don't have a lot of experience with dealing with policing issues in a populated environment.
But there's not much crime in the desert for an outback action man like Luke, so he wants to see what it's like being a busy city centre cop. And tonight, he's going to get the chance as he heads out with Inspector Will O'Connor on a Birmingham Saturday night.
Where is the police?
But it's not Luke's policing skills that are being put to the test first.
Luke. Luke.
Look, you want a girlfriend?
I'm leaving literally in like a month.
See you later, sexy.
Take it easy. Should have brought a stick with me to beat them all off, mate.
Usafono will be patrolling with Sergeant Andy Holder on her first ever Saturday night out in the UK. And already the police are having to step in as the mood turns aggressive. But it's not the violence that is most shocking to Usafono. It's the fact that British female officers are in the front line dealing with it. It's unlike anything Usafono has ever seen back home in Samoa.
Our female officers at home hardly do this. They hardly get the opportunity to go out in crowds like this and do this stuff, so...
It's about having officer presence there, regardless of whether they're male or female. The important thing is that we've got police officers on the streets making a difference.
Around the corner, and Luke is losing his touch and his patience with the ladies.
2:20, everyone's had a little bit too much to drink, everyone's getting a little bit vocal and taking things a little bit too far.
As the night draws to a close, Usafono and Sergeant Holder get one final call. A canister of CS spray has been found in a club. In the UK, it's treated as a firearm and carries heavy penalties for possession. They have a suspect and decide to search him further. But he has other ideas.
They see this kind of attitude that police are doing, you know, they...
As the suspect and Usafono's fellow officers disappear from sight, Usafono is left alone. But with her newfound confidence, she carries on through the deserted Birmingham streets. The first ever solo foot patrol by a Samoan female officer. It's early morning in Birmingham. Our 4 officers are getting ready for the climax to their public order training. Today they must use everything they've learnt and what they've seen on the streets to pass the course. It's one of the toughest tests a UK officer will go through in their career. Our 4 have had just 2 weeks' experience in the UK and just 2 days training.
Ready to go?
But if they pass today, they will be qualified to UK standards of public order policing and will be able to take part in raids and police riots in this country.
How are you, mate? We'll battle through it. Won't be, Colonel.
I'm just right now.
I know today is going to be tough.
We now have conducted the training. There's certainly an element now where we step away and we see how they react in that environment, how they conduct themselves and how they work as a team predominantly. Because the whole nature of this is to work as a team.
After his experience of rioting football fans, Gonzalo knows it's going to be tough.
They are going to test us a little bit. They are going to push us a little bit more. It's like a step forward. It's like last examination.
Gung-ho Luke felt powerless at the football.
Give me a helmet and a riot shield and a bat and I'll get stuck straight in there and give the guys a hand.
Now, with the proper training, he wants to prove he's up to the task.
This is, what I've most been thinking about over the last 3 days, to actually put this training into practice and try and do some, I suppose, scenarios that are as close to the real thing as possible.
Alfred's failures on the first 2 days of training
Sorry, man. Sorry.
mean this is his final chance to redeem himself. If he can fit into his riot gear.
I think today you're going to see a different Alfred. He was so aggressive. This is the kind of Alfred you're going to see today. Very firm and aggressive.
For Usafono, after her success in the earlier training, and having seen female police officers on the front line, this is her chance to show she can measure up to her male colleagues back home.
I think I'm tough enough to do it, so yeah.
Why are they like?
Why not? I couldn't let the guys have the fun and I just stand up. I have no way I'm going to be like them, so yeah. If they can do it, so as I.
The UK cops give their foreign colleagues the heads up on what they can expect.
This kind of event, we'll get a lot of grief. A lot of people telling us we can't do what we're doing, swearing, shouting, being violent, aggressive. And in this scenario, they exaggerate it to make us prepared. So you'll be pushed about.
Yeah.
And you'll be possibly have things thrown and stuff like that.
And Gonzalo finds out what terms of endearment he'll get from the crowd.
We get called pigs.
Pigs?
Yeah.
Pigs? Like
In England, we call pigs.
What does it mean? Pig like animal?
Yeah.
You two, prepare to form up left-hand side of the road.
The police trainers will do everything they can to make this test as realistic as possible.
There is a political party holding a meeting in the Fox Inn at the far end of the hangar. It's gone out in the national press and it's encouraging people to come and protest. It is a right-wing movement that are in the pub.
For the UK coppers, this is an essential part of their training they must pass. So they'll be relying on our officers to pull their weight.
They will be exposed to all extremes of low-key policing that will quickly escalate depending on the reaction by the police, and also worst-case scenario, preparing them for reality. So yes, it will get violent. Okay.
They're facing experienced police officers playing the part of the protesters. Their job is to prevent them passing the police line.
Yeah, sorry, mate, you can't get through.
My mate is over there.
Yeah, you can't get through for the time being, mate. Simple as that, mate.
My friend is over there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't do anything about that, mate. You can't get through. End of story.
All the overseas officers hold the line. The order comes through to push the line forward.
I think we're just trying to contain an angry mob, and we're just trying to usher them out the doors. There's more protesters than that, well, there is coppers, so we can only do the best that we can under the circumstances.
Eventually, the extra numbers make the difference, and the protesters break through.
If we get a crowd come round and you're going to shout up as your spotter, you shout to me, and we'll get this line back up, OK?
Usafono, who's acting as lookout, is now responsible for the safety of her whole unit.
All I know is that there's some people doing a protest and they're like finding their way inside and they can't go anywhere, so they're trying to find a way in and police are trying to contain them.
But the situation escalates when the protesters bring out petrol bombs. The officers must retreat and get into their protective gear. Now they face a full-on riot. To finally pass the course, they need to contain the protesters and push them out of the hangar. Usafono and Gonzalo are in the first wave of officers coming under fire. They must hold their ground at all costs. One of the UK officers is hit by a missile.
Officer down!
Luke is first to the injured man. Alfred is hit by a petrol bomb, but holds the line and backs up his colleagues. Finally, they succeed in pushing the rioters out.
It's hot in there.
So I was on fire. The petrol bomb just fell by my left foot.
Petrol bombs, missiles at the same time. But it's good. It's good to feel that.
Did good, didn't you?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Really good.
She did very well indeed. Worked hard, kept up with everybody else, stayed in position. So no issues at all. She's done really well.
Alfred, Luke, Gonzalo and Usafono find out how they've done.
Nobody looked scared. Nobody looked as though they were out of place. You all fitted in very, very well. And I'm more than confident that you'd be able to do this no problem.
After just 3 days of intensive training, where they've overcome violence, walked through fire and proven themselves in a riot situation, all 4 international officers have passed the course and are now fully qualified to UK standards of public order policing.
Enjoy that.
Good job.
Thank you for your efforts.
Good on you, mate.
Well done.
Here you go, mate. For being such a good sport. They sort of, helped me along and got me through it, so no injuries and we got the job done.
Oh, mate, that is sensational, mate. Are you sure?
Yeah, I've got a spare one.
Got myself a little Staffordshire Police lid. Can't complain. Add it to the collection.
But it's been an extra special achievement for one of our officers.
I'm really proud of myself. You know, I feel I have more power now than before, and I think I just have to prove the point that female can do just the same as the boys. And what I've seen so far in the UK, there's no difference between females and males. So I just proven that, and this is for my female officers back home, and I'm gonna do this. I did it. So yeah, I wasn't even scared at all. So way to go! It's finished, and it's been a long day. So it's a whole day.
Next time, the international officers improve their aim indoors.
What happened then?
And out. And experience the different extremes of British police work. From ticking off teens to protecting royalty.
We shake hands, and I gave him my best salute.
That's all new and coming up next Sunday at 9. There are a few things certain in life, but you can always rely on your nightly double bill of Family Guy. It's here next on 3.